Yeah.
Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live.
Hey.
2022 Hot 6 GSL SuperTournament, Season 1.
Bet.
What is up, everybody? We are here at day 3 of the GSL SuperTournament. We're in the round of 8. We're going to bang out all these best of 5s. And then we'll be back on Thursday for the round of 4 in the finals.
Yeah. We had a very interesting first round, Tasteless.
Yeah,
the second day, a lot of 3-0s, and there's been a lot of upsets so far. It's always kind of fun to start the new year and see who's in shape and who's not.
And not just that we had some one-sided games, but one-sided upsets.
Yeah.
A lot of the players that, historically, we would look at a matchup like this and say, well, if it is going to be one-sided, it's going to be this guy that's going to come out. In most cases, in the round of 16, it was the opposite, which is kind of surprising, exciting that we may see a shift in, who's really on top out here as we move into 2022.
Yeah, and don't forget that finals and round of 4, we are selling tickets for. You can see down at the bottom. If you'd like to order those tickets, definitely do so. We have all the information there. You have to be vaccinated, stuff like that. Don't forget. Well, you're not.
You have to have your second vaccination.
So, yeah.
But if you're in Seoul, come in. We'll get the tickets if they're still available. Come down. And you can actually see an esports event live out here. I know for StarCraft that's a rarity, and in Korea in general that's a rarity. We're really in kind of lockdown mode. I mean, stuff is open for a little bit, but it's not like it was in the old days. So this is a great opportunity to come down and enjoy some good old StarCraft. And of course, hear our casting live in the studio.
Yeah, look at that, 6 3-0s, Tasteless, in the round of 16. It's kind of crazy. A couple 3-2s in there as well, but yeah, you can really see all these crazy upsets. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a wide open tournament at this point. Obviously, you got to kind of look towards Maru as the big favorite overall, but there's some dangerous characters in here for him to beat.
Yeah, I think Maru, clearly the safest bet. Dark, you got to give a nod to, but ByuN did play surprisingly well. Creator, I have nothing but question marks around how he's going to perform here against Zoun. Zoun, again, looking very refined, very solid.
Yeah,
Bunny versus Zest is going to be a great way to start this off. And, Hero was one of those 3-0 players that just, rocketed through the round of 16. I don't know if he can do anything like that here against Maru. If he does, I feel like he has to be the favorite. But, he just came back onto the scene, just finishing his military service. So, showing a lot of promise, to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, if he can make an upset here, that's going to be absolutely gigantic and break the tournament wide open. But, I mean, looking at it, it does look like a Maru Dark type of tournament here, which, of course, would be a great finals. But if either of those guys get upset, Tasteless, that is going to be a wild start to the year.
Zest looking very good coming into this super tournament.
Yeah.
He's always had that style of kind of finding the moment to win and building into that versus kind of padding his play throughout like we'd see with like a Stats or even these other races where they're more about measured growth and cutting corners. Zest really is on the opposite of that. And we're going to see if he can bring that kind of play here today.
Yeah. I got to say, I really like the resurgence of Zest that we've seen in this past year. Almost won another GSL, which would have put him by far the strongest Protoss ever in GSL history. He's done pretty well in Super Tournament as well. But he's going up against this guy, Bunny, who is super strong right now. I mean, look at those results. Round of 8, round of 4, round of 16 for GSL Code S's last year. A couple of round of 8s in Super Tournaments as well. That's some serious results for him. This is a guy that had a hard time being in the round of 16. So he has been coming up. He beat Rogue. Honestly, his games, he looks to me like the second best Terran right now, Maru.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right.
As much as I like ByuN, he looks better than ByuN to me.
He looks a little bit more well-rounded. ByuN, again, very stylistic, but very good at what he does. This is going to be a great match to start stuff off. And Bunny, this is a guy, I feel like every time I'm casting him, I feel like I'm rooting for him more and more. The fact that he has improved so much, he's been in the GSL forever, and, he was oftentimes a mainstay, but not, one of these guys at the front of the pack. And here he is now, really looking better than ever, really having improved his own take onto the game. But Zest is going to be a tricky opponent. to say the least. And man, we do go fast here on the third day of Super Tournament. We are ready to jump into Game 1 in the first best of 5 tonight. This is Zest versus Bunny.
Game start.
I kind of stopped myself halfway there. Zest versus Bunny.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming.
Right there.
Zest.
Tassels was a 12 pylon.
Qua.
Yeah. Delayed that first probe. Get his pylon a bit quicker.
Surely to get a gate.
Bunny.
To get a gateway out quickly.
This is going to be an extremely tight build order. Meanwhile, Bunny not taking it seriously. He's playing with one hand.
I know.
Does this guy even want to be a pro gamer?
He might as well have 2 coffee cups in each hand. Now, this is very cool. We don't see this as often in modern StarCraft 2, like a very sharp opening like this, a pylon in the main immediately into a quick gate, into a quick gas. So we're going to see how much this will throw Bunny off. Now, even if Bunny scouts, there's a chance he doesn't pick up on the build right away either. A lot of times you come in there and it's either structures you already see or the lack of something else.
Definitely.
But he also hasn't scouted yet even, so this could be a very interesting early game.
Now the cybernetics core has been started. This probe was sent out right after making that second gas, so he's going to proxy something. I would be very surprised if it's not a Stargate. But yeah, this is going to basically be like the quickest that you can get something. What Zest is showing us, it's not like an overly complicated concept. He got the pylon as quickly as possible and built everything as quickly as possible after that.
And now the core is being made as quickly as possible so that it can complete as quickly as possible so a Stargate can be made as quickly as possible.
And this is like going to literally be the quickest thing.
So it's important to identify this, if you're someone who's watching casually, because this could look like every other proxied Stargate, but actually it is that on steroids.
Yeah, he did start a Stalker before the Stargate, but that is the only thing that slowed it down also. This is going to be very, very fast. And I'm excited about this. This is cool. Honestly,
the opening here for Zest pairs up pretty nicely against what he's going to be. Oh, can he get the SCV?
Oh, gets the kill.
Yeah. I mean, getting value out of that scouting SCV. Now, by the way, in this case, he doesn't have a probe here to try to make shield batteries or anything like that if he's going to have a Void Ray come out. So we should mention that. But that might not be, the theme or the spirit of the strategy, really. You can see that already the Stalker gets here. And it looks like this should be, slowing things down a little bit here from the perspective of Bunny. But in fact, a Void Ray is like 60% complete. The bunker is going to finish, but we don't have a Marine that can come in here just yet. Here comes another probe, by the way, to make that pylon. So he is, in fact, going to kind of amplify the pressure over here at the entrance and try to really punish this.
And look, the probe came in the other way. The Hellion is actually going around. It's looking for exactly what Zest is doing, but not in the right place. And he missed the probe coming up, the second probe. Like, losing the first probe actually hides us even better. So this is bad news for Bunny right now.
And the fact that he can then shut down the depot over here. By the way, no wall in at the entrance, but there's a Stalker here. The thing is, I don't know how many kills this Hellion's really going to get. One Hellion, it's usually not enough if there's anything to also try to fight back on it. Now, with the Marines coming out, you can see the Void Ray can just kill the Marines as they come back out over here. The second Void Ray is going to come in here. And if he can go ahead and get this other depot and supply block him, and maybe even get that reactor as well, I mean, it's just going to be, I think, too much damage for Bunny to deal with. Then again, this all goes back to the fact that the pylon was made earlier, so the core was made earlier. Oh my God, is he going to lose this? Oh no, he keeps it alive, and then he makes a sharp pull over here to the side, and actually goes over onto the bunker, but then ends up losing a Void Ray. Now, there still may be too much damage that's been dealt over here. You can see nothing's really able to flee the Void Ray without the damage taking it out. And so right before, actually right after the 2 Marines managed to escape out the barracks to the safety of the bunker, that's going to be the last time we're going to see 2 Marines at a time here. Now, he is making Cyclones here, which can combat Void Rays to some extent. But I'm worried that, especially with the fact that we have the production facilities over here on the left side, you can just keep hitting the main. Actually, he's just even going to go ahead and try to get that tech add-on.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to quite get it. Bunny knows that that is the most important thing going on right now. Magfield might be the only thing that can really save him. We'll see about that. Like, I mean, this is so much damage coming out. 3 Void Rays, 4 Stalkers. That's insane. He gets some lock-ons here. He does have that upgrade done now.
Yeah, I gotta say, Zest is being a little bit sloppy with the Void Rays here.
Yeah, a little bit.
It can be kind of hard, you know, when you're microing stuff and it's getting this intense stuff can get a little bit slippery, but the fact that Bunny is actually fighting him back is really something. The problem is this hasn't really curbed the momentum of the rush. I mean, it would be much better if there were 4 Void Rays instead of 2.
Yeah, game would be over at 4 right now.
But, you know, let's see if Bunny can continue to hang on here. Oh, this bunker does not have SCVs around it to repair just yet, and it looks like not in the nick of time. The Marines will be picked off there as they exit the bunker.
Oh!
And now, yeah,
that's it.
That should be GG.
Bunny smiles like a smirk there, shakes his head.
Yeah, frustrating game.
Yeah.
Good planning here by Zest, though.
But you're right, the execution seemed just slightly off, still good enough to bust Bunny, but not perfectly done. Now, obviously, that's like a kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure what to call it. It's not a backhanded compliment, and it's like kind of like it's like a small thing to say, but it wasn't perfect execution from Zest, right? If it was a little bit stronger on some of the micro points, like when he brought the Void Ray over and the 2 Marines popped out of the bunker and killed it. It's like you didn't I saw that coming a mile away.
It's kind of a funny thing, because like, it's almost like we're grading like an ice skating performance or something with that, but you're kind of looking for the perfection. I mean, those attacks really are hinged on everything being executed perfectly, but the fact that Zest kind of had to be honest, subpar control there and still close it out actually emphasizes the power of the build order.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think Bunny played poorly there, but he definitely got caught off guard. The Hellion went looking for what Zest was doing, just in the wrong places.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, a build we don't really see that often in GSL. So props to Zest. He's 1-0 against Bunny. Let's go into game 2.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Team NV, Bunny.
So Bunny's sending an SCV out immediately. It's not making a beeline over to the Protoss's base, and the barracks has started in the main.
Yep. And we'll see if he proxies. I mean, the way he's sending that, it definitely does look like a proxy.
Yeah, well, he's kind of moving it around.
It could be a scout, right?
Yeah, he might be trying to kind of move it through a path where he could find a setup for something. But it is a very quick SCV sent out, and it's actually going to pass by this probe, which is... Okay, so it's going to be the eBay block. This is to thwart the Protoss from making the Nexus right away.
4 probes immediately come down, the standard. Start attacking that eBay. Bunny tries to get a bit more health, and we'll get out of there.
This is a pretty good catch here by Zest. You know, if the eBay is allowed to produce for even a couple of seconds before it's detected, you know, it's a building that makes pretty fast and has a lot of hit points. So I think Zest deals with this very easily, brushes this aside, and moves on with what he wanted to do.
Absolutely. So throws down his Nexus, and looks like Bunny going to go ahead and throw down his command center. So no harm, no foul.
Yeah, it's going to be a game that, you know, I don't think there's been any major interruptions here for either side. But Zest certainly playing a different game from that game 1. I really like the build order there. You know, it's one thing to do the proxy.
You're meaning, the proxy void,
Yeah. Well, to get it out that quick, because we've seen a lot of games where people do make proxy void, right? Versus Terran versus Protoss, where you know, it already looks pretty strong, but the fact that you then, you know, push it up by like 10% momentum by just having everything come out quickly, and then just barely having enough back at home to fund the progression of the rush. It's a smart way to kind of amp up your build.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're in competition this high.
Yeah, I think when you optimize a build like that to just make it like a few seconds quicker, that can really throw things off for a player. You know, you practice against certain standards, And if you're practicing and normally it's, 10 seconds later or something, that makes a huge, huge difference at this level.
Yeah, things are really timed out so perfectly. So, again, a smart build here. We've got the Stargate coming again. This time it's back at home. It may be for an Oracle to try to come through and scout and see what exactly is going on. We've got Widow Mines here for the Terran. Starport on the way. It's so far, a pretty slow, I guess, average game, you could say, as far as development on both sides.
Yeah, nothing too aggressive. I mean, it looks like pretty standard stuff. We'll just see how that Oracle ends up doing. Is he going to fly into a mine? There's so many interesting places to hide those nowadays. Put him under the radar dish, underneath the gas.
Yeah, it's one of the funny things that's not really talked about that much in RTS is the 2.5D is what they call it, the angle that you're seeing the game. You're not really truly seeing it from above. And so sometimes, whether it's like a building, like the little top of a building, or like a tree or anything, you can sometimes hide the actual image of the unit there and then throw them off.
Yeah, and he actually scouted where it was over the starport, rather. So the Oracle knows where not to go and knows that this is something that Bunny is trying to do. Oh!
Yes, even sees that there, and then comes back in here, and I mean, some pretty big interruptions on the mining. The Oracle's actually going to get away, albeit with very few hit points, but honestly pretty impressive. Now, immediately Bunny wants to punch back here. He's coming out, but this is going to get spotted by the Oracle, both the movement of the medevac as well as the Marines on the ground.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of units here, right? He took that third base off of one Oracle and one Stalker, so a few more Stalkers being made. With very good micro, he might be able to slow this down, but I am a little bit worried for him about that medevac with the mines, right? Because he's got a micro here, but he's also got to watch out for the mine drop that's coming.
Yeah, he is going to see the mines coming in here. He tried to actually get in between the Stalkers, and in fact, he did succeed in doing that. Whoa, the Oracle goes down. Thought it was going to go to the probe for a second there. Now, he can take out this one mine here. Honestly, he's kiting this very well. Keep in mind, Stalkers actually can kite Marines. Oh, dude, Zest is a king. Stalkers can kite Marines indefinitely if they're just microed, intensely. They are actually faster than Marines. We don't really see these fights happen that often because it's one of the things you learn early on. So I feel like Bunny's strategy has backfired entirely. Zest was ahead when he hit with the Oracle.
Yeah.
I mean, he is doubly or triply ahead post-destroying the medevac, the Widow Mines, and the Marines.
Well, this is peak Zest right here. Like, this is actually, what I've talked about so many times with the way that he plays. Like, look at his build where he literally had one Oracle and one Stalker, went 3 Nexus, used up all of his Oracle health and energy, killing 4 SCVs, and then holds Bunny sending everything he has across the map. Easily. Like, it's crazy. And now here he is attacking. He's up, like, dude, he's up 15 workers right now? Are we serious? Oh my god, he has Blink?
He's just going to win the game with Blink here. I mean, this is what happens if Terran tries to attack out. It's one of the reasons why you hear so often in our cast us talk about stim finishing, because really Terran can't do very much without stim, especially with Marines, and we're seeing that here.
Do you see this?
Stalkers alone, I mean, it's making it look like it's a StarCraft 1 PvT here with Dragoons just bashing, the Terran here at the entrance of his base. Now, I don't feel like Zest is having the cleanest control in all this, but it just exhibits the lead that he has.
Yeah, and as long as he does not, like, blunder at these Stalkers, he's pretty good to go, man. Like, he is up so many workers right now. He's got those 3 bases, and he can add his production. Look, he's adding 3 gates right now, getting charge, getting +1. Observers coming out. Just looking so good for Zest right now.
Oh, he's going to try to come in here and intercept. This is actually a pretty good tactic by Bunny, and, I think Zest might have gotten a little carried away with himself. I do think his control is, like, a little bit subpar, to be honest. And now you see with Stim, now the infantry can actually chase down the Stalkers.
Yeah. And recalls them out. I think that's actually a good play there.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's better than walking back.
He might have stayed slightly too long, but you're right. It felt like he might be able to kill Bunny, and then the micro was a little off. I think he might have... I don't think it's like he's clicking wrong. He's like, oh, I just can't micro today. I think it's more like he went home, made his gates, got his upgrades, right? Like, he's doing that type of multitasking where the attack is no longer as important as just continuing the build forward. Because if he continues the build forward, like, watch this. In, like, a minute here, watch and see how much Zest has. It's going to be kind of crazy with how quick that third came up.
Well, you know, it's one thing to look at the back and forth with the fight. You're right, Zest almost won there. But once he goes back and just makes all the gateways he needs, like, he's going to have so much stuff.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, right? Like, normally at this point in the game, this is generally where Terran gets ahead on supply by quite a bit, army-wise.
Yeah, that's very true.
But Zest right now, like, he is doing a drop of Zealots right now. He's getting his Dark Shine, making Immortals. This forces the army to come back. And, I mean, Zest just has everything going on.
And you gotta really appreciate the fact that Terran can't leave his base, you know? Like, I guess you can come out with this, but, like, to have your whole army come across here, and this is going to kill a probe or two, not even, in fact. Whips
Goes
the
into
shot.
The Geyser. God.
Blows
Truly
the geyser.
everything is going well for Zest. Okay, loses 5 there. There
I
you
think
go.
we might end up with another 3-0. It'll be the 7th the 3-0 that we've had in a row in Super Tournament. Because
that would be crazy, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I feel like we've actually never even had 6 3-0s, I feel like.
Well, we have so far in this tournament.
I mean, for this, but I'm just saying, even that was probably a first.
Right.
But like this tournament just keeps getting one-sided. So yeah, I mean, with ease, you see Zest handle that attack, and you know, I think Bunny's doing a good job of trying to fight back, but I just worry, you know, especially with this upcoming attack, there's a real vulnerability here for Bunny.
Yeah, I love, by the way, that this is like the quickest DT blink ever from Zest.
Right.
Really, normally that's considered a much later game upgrade, but he's getting it right now. Looks like he's getting into Disruptor tech. I mean, it could be Colossus as well. It feels like Disruptor this game. But here we go. DT's being dropped out. Blink's still on the way, but doesn't seem like he'll get it before this is cleaned up.
Yeah, and what's more important is that this attack over here, there's nothing that Terran can do about it because he's trying to take care of the DT attack inside of his main. He is going to come back. It looks like this DT is still here, though. As you can see, Bunny's multitasking is really getting taxed over here.
Yeah.
More SCVs are going to be picked off one by one. The command center is getting so low. We may see GG here if Terran can't really turn this around. Goes on top of that Immortal and takes it out. But I think losing one Immortal is certainly forgivable here for Zest, considering the lead he's put himself in and continues to stay in. Oh my God, and now there's nothing to repair.
Dude, Zest is really on top of things.
Yeah, he is just,
God.
He's going to kill these SCVs in recall, yeah.
Yeah, he loses a handful of Stalkers there, but totally worth. He's up 50 supply right now. Disruptors are coming out, which is like, that like seals the deal right there, those Disruptors.
I think so.
Because now you can't even do the counter where you're like, okay, well, you did spend a lot of units dealing damage to me. He's like, yes, I did, but try to attack into Disruptors with shield batteries. Please try that.
This is the last two Ra here from the Terran, it looks like. He wants to try to come across and attack, but now there's going to be these Zealots sent down here. Now, maybe this doesn't work out because the Zealots are not here with this. But
the Zealots are overkill. We don't need those there.
That's a win more move.
We already have this game. Like, all you have to do is live through this one attack.
Yeah.
This is the only thing you need to do as Zest. And he's like sent more units. He's like, I want to really win.
Yeah. But I think that he will survive this attack, especially with the Disruptors being well placed enough.
Yeah, but I think honestly, even in theory, you should not have sent the Zealots. Like, after that much damage, just make sure you crush this. And he still will. GG.
All right, 2-0 for Zest. Are we going to go to a 3-0 and actually get the 7th 3-0 in Super Tournament?
Dude, I got to bring out this old saying. Zest just monster punched Bunny to the moon.
He did, dude. He monster punched him.
That was
to
crazy.
The moon.
Like, I've never seen such a monster punch in my life. And Bunny is like, it doesn't even look like he's playing poorly. But Zest is just, when you send your Oracle in and you use up all of its energy and all of its health while making a third Nexus and you have one Stalker
and
at
you're
home.
killing SCVs.
Yeah, and then your opponent brings over 12 Marines, a medevac, and 3 mines. You think you'd be in trouble. No, though.
No.
Absolutely not. Not only are we going to have Blink in a moment, but 4 Stalkers will hold this.
Yes. So we're going to go to Glittering Ashes now, and Bunny basically has to do a reverse sweep or he's out. And Zest is going to be our first player in the Final 4 of Super Tournament. I got to say, man, Zest is looking like he's playing better than ever. Let's see what happens here as we go to the map, Glittering Ashes.
Game start.
Start game? No. Game start.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Zest.
Get your ashes ready.
Get your ashes ready. Get your gamer urns ready.
TNV. Bunny.
Have you seen that new Korean Netflix show, Hellbound?
Oh, I don't even know about it. I'm guilty of really not watching any Korean shows. Like, people always ask me what my favorite K-dramas are.
There's some good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Yeah. Hellbound's okay.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I mean, clearly you had something you wanted to say, though.
Well, I was just going to say that Zest is all three of those things that, like, come to send people to hell. There's, like, three, like, monstery looking things that appear to send people to hell, and they just beat the shit out of someone and kill them. And that's, like, basically, that's the premise. It's in the first episode in the first couple minutes, so I'm not spoilering. But Zest is all three of those right now. Like, just popping in and hitting Bunny all over the place. She's like, oh, no, this is terrible.
I mean, these have been very brutal early games, to be totally honest. You know, it's a little bit too bad. I mean, we'll see what happens in Game 3, and maybe we have a 4 and 5 as well. But, like, you can really see that, like, Bunny can't even quite get started up.
No. Things are
like,
going haywire.
StarCraft is a little bit, no matter how much you want to talk about, you know, fighting and macro, it is a little bit about getting those first few building blocks set up so you can kind of get to where you want to go.
No, and these sorts of leads that you can pick up in the early game are so powerful.
Yeah.
Which is also why it's risky to try to get those leads, because if you screw that up, then your opponent has the edge.
And it's also, to be honest, more rare because people do tend to play somewhat more conservatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In you know, especially with StarCraft 2, a lot of it being so kind of streamlined and automated, the early parts of the game, it's hard to actually get that edge. It's usually better to dial it back and try to play more of a macro game. So, I mean, let's see, man. A Zealot inbound now, another Stargate here. A lot of the same ideas from Game 1 here in Game 3, although the positions are a bit different. We don't have a Stalker putting pressure on here to the Terran. We don't have the Terran holding a natural expansion, which is much harder to defend. Instead, we have Terran tucked up onto the high ground, and it's going to be an all-or-nothing thing. I think if Terran can basically survive this, they're going to be in pretty good shape. This is a bigger challenge for a Protoss to break through than you know, bunker or even barracks on low ground. Anything else there, they kind of cause interference.
Yeah, just the fact that he's already getting that tech lab, right? He has a bunker at his natural, so it's not like you're going to be losing a depot right off the bat.
The bunker is part of the wall-in, so the Zealot can do damage with that, which all these things become factors.
Look, he's throwing a gateway down there, too, so there's going to be extra warp-ins. Zest definitely going very heavily all in.
Oh, is he going to... Oh, he's going to another bunker back here. Now, he can hit the depot. I think there's a sweet spot, where the Stalker and the Void Ray can stand. And you know, even if the Marines get close, the Stalker and the Void Ray are actually still a threat. And so this is kind of scary, especially with the battery finishing. He does not have enough SCVs if he chooses to target this, which he doesn't. A pretty good trade-off on both sides. But, you know, when the SCVs come back, 3... Oh, okay, but now 2 is not enough. I was going to say 3 might be enough to hold this.
Little mistake there from Zest. He didn't quite pull that Stalker back far enough to break the lock, so he actually uses up a lot more shield battery energy than he needed to.
That's right.
Magfield is almost halfway done.
Oh, he gets the probe. He gets the probe. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a good kill.
Oh, but immediately he just flicks right onto the bunker and actually knows the moment the bunker can't be saved and even goes straight onto the Viking. Oh, my God. I think we may be having a 3-0 over here. The Cyclone doesn't really have anywhere to go. It ends up getting pinned inside of the plateau that the Terran starts on. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He's going to get it. He takes that out.
Bunny. All right.
Okay, we've got ourselves a
Look at this Stalker.
The thing is, there's still 2 Void Rays out. There's still nowhere to really run with the Cyclone. And, oh, okay, I actually thought he was targeting the Stargate.
Oh, my God.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
I can't believe that lived.
I thought he was shooting the starport for a second. I got confused. The Viking was right on top. Thing is, Terran can still die. I mean, the rush isn't done, but again, the whole point is that you're supposed to keep each Void Ray alive. By the time you have about 4 or even 3, It could be too much to handle here. There is still a bunker interfering here, and now dealing damage on top of this Void Ray. Zest is kind of falling apart here, man.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Bunny has definitely held at this point. He is looking better and better. And GG,
Bunny he breaks the curse.
Yeah, thank God for that.
I will tell you, man, like a minute and a half ago, I thought Zest was going to win this 100%. You got to be careful with those Void Rays. It's hard. You're hitting so many you're doing so many things at once as far as targeting goes. Just didn't quite have enough.
When you dive in, you have to get the kills.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you lose a Void Ray, it's such a big percentage of your damage gone. It's so much about maintaining those Void Rays, but at the same time, you can't let your opponent get a bunch of Cyclones out because with Magfield, they lock on, and the shield batteries can't save you, right?
You know, the strategies from Zest have been better than his control, which is kind of the opposite of what we usually would be saying about Zest. But
yeah, that was not perfect execution again.
A lot of times in those rushes, if you just get the Void Ray to overextend one time, that's it. That one time they overextend, when they turn around, it's like, yeah, you're already going to lose enough hull damage if you don't lose it already. That this is a pretty easy thing to manage. We're going to go to 2,000 atmospheres for Game 4 as Bunny begins his comeback.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Team NV, Bunny.
So such an important hold there. I feel like there's hope in the series now. And yeah, I think you're right. The strategies for Zest look a lot better than the control tonight. I think if you take the position he was in before he came up the ramp and you make Zest stand up and you put Parting in the seat, I think Bunny probably dies.
I agree. I thought especially when we saw that depot in the corner start to just take the damage, I'm like, okay, he's got the setup. You know what I mean? He could start to bait the SCVs. He could try to flick on to the depot, then flick off, get an SCV, and kind of start to get that damage accumulation that, you know, if the Terran doesn't really deal with it correctly, things just spiral out of control. But I think
the micro wasn't that bad for Zest too, by the way. But
it wasn't bad.
Part of it was the decision making of when and where to dive.
Well, he also had these moments where he like ran the Void Ray literally just over the bunker.
Yes.
Like we didn't really talk about it that much, but there was these kind of you know, things are happening extremely quickly in moments like that. And yeah, I think you're completely correct when you say that, like, if we pause the game and had Parting sit down right before that happens, that somehow Parting moves on to the round of 4.
Yeah, Parting's in the round of 4. There you go. Yeah. There's nothing weird about that.
And then he competes and wins, and he gets in trouble with his military service. Working with
listen, we want the esports to be real sports. Don't they do, like, pinch hitting and stuff in baseball?
I don't know what pinch hitting is. What is that?
It's when you have someone else come in and hit.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called pinch hitting. But yeah, have Parting come in and pinch hit.
Pinch cheesing. Has someone come in and finish the cheese strat.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, Zest really needs a win here with cannons. Parting, get in here.
Yeah. No one controls buildings as well as you do.
He has DT tech, but he looks screwed. SOS, I know you're tired. Come sit down. All right, so we have the Citadel, the Twilight. Oh no!
No, Artosis, how could you?
We have the Twilight coming down.
This is what you get when you cast both the games.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be blank. I'd be pretty surprised if it's anything else. Zoun isn't playing till later tonight, so it's a Glaives joke. Never mind.
That one doesn't get my laughter. That gets my slow clap. Where I'm like, oh well played.
Not even. You looked at me like you were a fish. I was like, does Tasus even have a brain? I don't know what's going on here. He's definitely not sentient. That's for sure.
Oh, gets two Marines here.
3 Marines.
It goes right into the DT tag.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of funny, right? Because Zest did one, like, kind of mega greedy build in the middle here, and other than that, he's like, yeah, let's just do some real cheesy stuff right now.
Yeah, this is actually, like, definitely not a new age strat, right? To have a proxy DT rush
Yeah.
right outside your base with a gateway. You're like, so what exactly is happening here?
This is as old as time.
Yeah.
A proxy DT rush. This is like before humans. This was already there.
When there was only
Adam and Eve saw a dark shrine behind the tree.
That's what they thought the snake was?
Yeah. And the DT tried to convince them, and you're like, wait, what's talking to me? I don't see anything. It's like, oh, I'm the snake, yeah.
It's cheesiness is the fruit of knowledge. So the... Oh, is he going to not commit? The Stalkers, I don't know if they saw that medevac. Okay, they do. But here come the two DTs. Now, I don't know what the scan availability is at home, but...
He actually has a Raven on the way, so...
Yeah, it's still a little ways out, though. So he gets to see, I believe that's both, because I don't see where the other one went.
Oh, God.
Yep, he got both. All right, we're going to be going to 2-2 at this rate, man.
Yeah. No, this looks absolutely terrible for
So
Zest.
this is
He's actually
actually
up by quite a few workers, though.
But this is actually one of the reasons why we don't see this specific strategy used that often. Part of this strategy, and some people could say this is true for a lot of stuff, but I think it's even more so true with this is kind of you really banking on your opponent making a mistake, like not sensing there could be a DT threat or not respecting this enough to have scans banked. And honestly, Bunny's just played a really clean game from here on out. It really has been Bunny, by the way, on the defense in this entire series. Like, we haven't really gotten to a game where we get to really see what Bunny wanted to do. It's all a matter of, can you survive what Zest has in store for you?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he's coming back with that, with a vengeance. So Bunny definitely has like a way better army right now. The Blink upgrade is a good upgrade. I don't think anyone's going to argue with me on that point. But is that going to be enough against the push out that we're going to be seeing here from Bunny as Stim finishes up? Like, the build from Bunny looks like it's going to be one of these, like, okay, let's take a command center and add 2 racks while pushing. And just that kind of pressureful push that we see from this, it looks like it's going to be really scary.
Okay, so yeah, with siege mode up, and by the way, this tank in a spot where, like, you're either going to have to blink onto the tank or not engage this. And I think if he blinks on, he would end up getting baited right into all these Marines and Marauders.
What about just dealing some damage to the bunker?
Yeah, and then blinking back and then doing that again. What about that?
But the second time, you blink in some of the Stalkers on the bunker and then walk away.
This is so weird because, in all seriousness, Zest's control has been a little bit off.
Yeah.
Like, his ideas are pretty cool. I even appreciate him kind of bringing out a weird build like this that, you know, isn't exactly a new idea, but, like, why not just kind of throw this in as a wild card for the Terran, since things are mostly going well so far. But, again, his control has not been on top, and I guess you could. It's fair to say that we don't really think of, when we think about Zest controlling stuff, we're not really talking about his Blink Stalker micro or his Void Ray control. It really was a lot more about adepts or doing kind of crazy stuff with charge lots. But
maybe he's cold tasteless. Maybe he's like wearing gloves or something right now. I can't see his hands, so I can't say for sure.
Maybe he's playing with oven mittens on.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a baseball mitt on his mouse hand right now, and that's like explaining
He's microwave, but he's got to pull, you know, a bunch of brownies out of the oven. He doesn't want to burn his hand.
Yeah, that could be it. Look at that. Bunny wants him to try a prism right now.
Okay, this is actually where things could spiral out for Zest. I mean, he's got these Blink Stalkers. The DTs, I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. Okay, they're going to go for the command center. I don't know what is actually there to defend at home, but I just want to point out that Terran has like a mobile force that is completely self-sufficient. Yeah. He can heal up, he's got stim, he's got tanks in case he can't engage, he can siege up and shell. Like, Protoss, I think, is just going to get
He's going to GG
smashed
in a second here, because this is about to explode, and he's going to lose his third, and his DTs aren't doing anything.
And then we just put the camera on Zest, and his head blows up. It's like everything just happens at once.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now that was extremely, extremely one-sided. But this is something that happens with DT builds.
Yeah.
If they do nothing, then they look like really weak because you just don't have muscle in your army. Normally you end up making Immortals to try to fix that. And he comes in with the DTs, and like maybe he just barely breaks that, but he is dead. He is dead.
I don't think we're out of the woods yet with this fight. That's a lot.
Oh, we're
of
in
stalkers.
the woods, Taste.
We're like
6
so in the
feet
woods.
under a tree right now. Zest's dead body is feeding the future of oxygen.
We're in the woods right now, and it's the Blair Witch movie. Okay, that's what's going on.
Yeah. Look at that Archon.
All right.
Tanking the hit. All right. You watch Zest like come back and win.
You know.
Like, okay, we do need a patch. I'm sorry. This should not be.
Actually, I'm surprised Zest survived that. I was in agreement with you. I thought probably this attack comes in and he can just kind of smash him down. And maybe now this is the moment where Bunny really is in hot water, because there's really not that many units. They're all pretty low on HP.
Yeah.
Even the medevacs are low on the energy to heal the infantry. So I think he quietly needs to get out of here, regroup, and take a third base. I think we need to see Bunny go into a different direction.
I'd like to see him try to continue to put on pressure, but I know what you mean. Like, if he ends up losing that army, it's going to be really bad. Drop some mines out.
I don't think Zest knows about this. Look.
There you go. And those
Now
were
he
as
knows.
clumped as they could have been, too.
Yeah. They were literally like doing one of those Cirque du Soleil things where they're all stacked on top of each other, making a special shape. There's 10 guys standing on each other's shoulders. And so ghosts are coming, but it's 2 base ghosts. No indication of a... Oh, I'm sorry. There is an indication of a third base. It's going to be right landing just to the bottom right of the screenshot. Okay,
Yeah,
so
a lot
that's
of
good.
mines out here right now.
'Cause-
And he is getting into Colossi now, so that's going to very much help against this comp. All right, he gets that Revenge SCV. Now time to get out.
Terran's going to come out again. Terran does have a pretty impressive supply. With the Colossi coming here, I don't know if we're going to have Disruptors later too, but Colossi alone are quite good, especially against the Marines.
Yeah, I think he will eventually, but right now against what he's playing, I like the idea of getting Colossi. It's going to stabilize you a little bit against Ghosts and Mines, and then you can get into Disruptors and just have a field day. And, I mean, once he actually gets his Colossi count out, like 3 Colossi probably, could be just 2, but I would say 3 and then into just 2 Robo Disruptor. Like, by the time he gets about 4 out, he's going to be kind of invincible, right? Like, that's where it gets really hard to kill Protoss.
Well, it's hard to come in and trade without you just getting parts of your army shaved off. I like this. Take out the Cybernetics Core.
Doesn't it look
This is a
funny
funny
the way
fight.
that the lasers turn in the air? It's like, do we have like little tiny mirrors that they put out there to bounce those lasers down? Like, how does that work? They like go out over the edge and then go downward suddenly?
They have the trajectory of like a slingshot or a catapult.
Yeah, it's very strange looking. I don't like that.
He's going to take out the Observer and lose a lot of his army. And, you know, even though it was a bit of a clunky start here, I'm worried that if Bunny doesn't do a lot of damage right away, Zest can still win this. Now, here we go. Big attack down here. Gets the burrowed Widow Mines down, although they don't do the damage that I think they needed to do. Now, what Bunny is doing very well is that he's basically splitting the attention here and forcing Zest to run, put out a fire in one place, then run back and put out a fire somewhere else. But if Terran doesn't do enough damage and trade well in that process, Terran's just ran around bleeding off units here and there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that we've seen Terran come out ahead in the way that they need to.
And, like, Bunny is making another command center, which I think is really important, but I want him to look at this game and realize that he's not going to get a kill anymore, because this is something that we see from a lot of very strong Terrans, where they never get into a comp that can actually fight the Protoss army. Because as we get into a second source of splash, and then maybe eventually a third if Zest is really mean, then, like, the Bioforce can't ever fully engage it.
Yeah, it does seem like the burden for the Terran is to basically stop the Protoss before they finish out all these, you know, techs. But again, we've seen some kind of sloppy control here from Zest. So, I mean, it's possible he gets that comp up and then he isn't able to kind of manage
Possible. It's possible. But I think you do need, like, a different...
it. Wow, that's a lot
like,
of damage.
Yeah, that mine, right? He, like, walks the Colossi into mines.
The giant stalkers, those golden ones, they're pretty good, man. The long-legged stalkers.
Have you ever called those stalkers before? I don't think
They're
so.
giant stalkers. You see them right there? Not
What
the
about
blue.
the little short stocky stalkers? Those things look like they live for a long time.
Yeah, the ones that work out. The gym rat stalkers, the immortals.
I'm a little bit confused why Zest just continued to attack with this army. Like, he walked the Colossi over mines, and then he, like, just kind of kept going, and his army's getting whittled down and kept going, and he kept going. This is a strange day of Zest, where he's bringing some brilliant strategies, and then some of his decision-making within and some of his micro within is kind of like suspect, you know? It's like, what are we doing here? Like, we have two different sources of splash and double robo going. You just took a fourth base.
Well,
let's chase the bio across the map.
And Bunny actually wins.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Well, he was supposed to win with that first push, honestly.
Yeah.
And Zest held with, like, he warped in 3 DTs, and they each got 2 swipes off, and then, like, he turned them into an Archon that ate the mine shots, and it was like, he barely holds and then almost comes back, but he really threw at the end there, and not that he was just going to free win it, but he had enough splash that if you just stay near your base, you can't die.
Yeah, what's weird is I don't know in the end part of that game why Zest is pursuing that. It's like, no, you just kill off when they come at you. You swat it away, and you keep powering up. And look, I think Zest is coming here with a wide range of strategies that were pretty cool, but they are starting to fall apart. Bunny is really finding some balance here, and now he's more than halfway there. He's won the last 2 games. He wins one more. He moves on. Zest, who looked unstoppable, is in hot water. Let's settle this on Blackburn with Zest versus Bunny to see who's going to be the first player to move on to the round of 4 in the GSL SuperTournament.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Team NV, Bunny.
Utah Cartosis. Pressure's on.
For who?
First
for Bunny, for Zest, for me, for you? Who's the pressure
for
on?
everybody.
Everybody involved. No, that was...
Again, I think we've got a very different Zest than I think what both you and I are used to casting, what our viewers are used to watching. Normally, Zest's strength really is in the timing attack and the control. And, you know, here he has kind of slipped up with just the only thing that he had to do right to close it out. Because strategically, the timings were perfect. You know, everything was set up, but he didn't control it right. But also to see him not control right in a macro moment where I think that really is, you know, all you have to do is basically hold off those attacks.
The chase just didn't make any sense.
Or there's a point where there's diminishing returns where you go, okay, I'm far out enough. Let me come back here and just warp in tier 1 Protoss units like Zealots and Stalkers and fill in the sponge component of my army so that the damage dealers won't die.
Yeah, it's I don't know. But hopefully we see a bit better decision making here.
No proxy Void Ray here. This game so far looking to be, you know, just a standard expand game. Yeah, it's funny to see Zest kind of having an off day with control.
Yeah, and again, it's not just the micro. It's like it's the choices being made as well, because that's actually a big part of micro that people don't realize. Like, you can get like very good control and like know how to dodge a Baneling or split Marines and stuff, but a lot of times you have to actually make the right decision of when to do certain things.
Yeah,
and that's actually like in many ways even more important than the fast clicky.
I think there's a misconception in StarCraft in general, and I think this really started a long time ago when people started talking about APM, where everybody just talks about their APM or how you need to be, you got to be fast, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you do have to be fast, okay? That's correct. You cannot be a slow person and have any success in this game, but really it's about knowing how to prioritize what you give your attention to, and that is what your APM is. So when you see somebody with, like, you know, they both have 300 APM, that literally doesn't tell you that they're even or that they're able to do the same amount of stuff, because there's wasted APM. You know, you'll see moments where people micro way too much when they should be macroing, when they don't know how to micro, even though they click a lot, they don't know how to control stuff. So there's a lot to that. But yeah, you're right. It's not just about clicking really fast, which I think even to this day when people talk about StarCraft, they don't really, if that's what you think it is, then you don't really get it. Like, you have to know how to point your attention into certain places. You have to know how to, like, look at this and say, okay, this is more important than this. I actually need to, like, set up a certain number of tasks here and hope this can sort itself. Like a drop you put somewhere, have them attack here, or shift click these units or buildings and then go to the next thing. And that's how you end up with you know, these players that look completely flawless. Is they're able to almost make it look like they're everywhere, when in fact they're just like anybody else, only at one place at a given moment in time in the game.
Well, yeah, the people who switch really quickly, and I think that it's actually kind of a funny thing because we have observers that are watching as well, and the observer's kind of following where the action's happening. So they'll actually jump at the same time as a lot of the pros that make it really look like they're everywhere, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, we see Maru microing here, then we jump over there. He's microing here too. How's he doing it? So,
oh my god.
Yeah. Good block there from Zest. That was like, that could have been terrible.
Okay, nicely done. I thought that was going to go a lot worse there for Zest, but he has chased that medevac away. It's very low on HP. I think it's unlikely that he's going to keep this over here.
Look at this, a completely different style coming out of Zest. He's getting a very quick Templar Archives. So this might be like one of those trap-esque games where he gets Storm very quickly and just walks across the map with Storm, because a lot of players don't get Ghost Academy very quickly. Yeah,
it's a funny thing where, like, you can get out ahead of it and try to, you know, stop it, but if you're not actually prepped and you just have these sort of clumpy death balls, you know, ready to stim and fight, the Storm will just obliterate it. It's also possible he wants to play a pretty, you know, dialed back game of just getting into Storm and kind of waiting. You know, we've seen, you know, as Terrence struggled to kind of master this matchup, it does seem to be one of the issues, and this comes up in certain matchups and certain RTSs at given points in time, is like, it's probably better for you to try to end the game on your side of things than to try to match them full out. Does that make sense?
No, what do you mean?
Terran trying to just, like, for instance, kill the Protoss off before they get too many types of splash. Because and some matchups and some RTS games do kind of, at least in the theory will be at that point in time, this is probably how to do it, is you need to try to end the game with a timing. Don't try to outlast them, because ultimately they're going to have superior tools at their disposal.
Now, here comes the push, but we have 6 gates warping in, so it's going to be like 8 gate charge, 1 Immortal, I believe, Blink Stalkers, and very soon Storm. So I believe he has a couple of High Templars already out, which means he should have like 2 Storms. Yeah, 3 High Templars, in fact. So this is like, he's going to hold this.
He sees them.
I think we're going to see him in pretty good shape after this.
Well, that Storm bruises just a couple of these infantry units.
We had the overcharge absolutely perfect here.
And with the War Prism, he can basically pick them up. He doesn't have to worry about snipes anymore. Terran needs to leave. He needs to pick up that tank and leave, man.
Whoa. And he actually is backing up. Oh, he wants to go for a drop. I'm not so sure.
Oh. I think, yeah.
I think you were right about the leave, and I thought he was leaving. I was like, damn, he really knows.
Well, he is now. I think the decision to try to, like, is he really going to do this? The thing is, the War Prism and the Zealots, I mean, he could just, like, nuke this. And, you know, these medevacs might be at risk of just getting stuck kind of behind Zest's starting position here.
Well, he's counting on this doing something, but I don't believe that it will, because we have 8 gateways, so there's going to be like 8 more Zealots here in a second.
Okay, this just got completely destroyed here. It seems like Bunny was trying to do some kind of a, you know, I don't know, just trying to be everywhere at once, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? Trying to like I'm going to hit you here and here and here, and then what? And then instead, you know, Zest just individually won each of those fights. There's no third base for Terran, so economically he's in dire straits, and you know, now we're seeing Terran basically seal himself off and try to wait this out. But, you know, there's nothing in the game that says that Protoss has to then go attack into that. He might anyways, but you could take a 4th base and a 5th if you're Protoss and, you know, play the waiting game.
Would love to see Zest throw down another base right now. He's deflected everything very, very well. He has a lot of tools at his disposal. We see a Forge coming up now. I think some heavier robo production would be called for. If he goes into Colossi from here, I think that's the absolute best play. And there you go, support bay coming down. But yeah, it's like by going, if you go High Templars, they literally have to go EMP because there's no way you can battle without EMP. And then you just go into Colossi, and it's like, wow, you completed your splash. You're in good shape.
Okay. We have another little Widow Mine drop coming in here. And again, these aren't really doing anything. It's not like it's a big deal that the Widow Mines are killed off without killing anything. But again, big picture here is that Terran's not really making a scratch. And Protoss is getting massive here. And with the Storm drops coming in, oh, EMPs on that. But even then, getting those 3 SCVs, you know, the 4th base is being taken as well at the gold. I think we're going to see a couple more Warpins here, and then probably Zest attack out. Maybe Bunny does a drop into the main to try to, you know, force him to recall back, but still, it's going to be a tough game here for Bunny.
Yeah, Colossi being produced now. Enhanced Shockwaves is done. So, you know, Bunny, he's similar in army supply, just a little bit down right now. And there's no Colossi. There's only 3 High Templars. Maybe he can actually move out and try to poke, see if he can get something done. A little bit of a Zealot attack coming up. Kind of funny watching them just get clumped at that turret.
Yeah, looks like the bunker may end up burning down there. It does manage to kill off some of those Marines. Kind of a weird recall on... I mean, of all the things you recall in the game, do you really want to recall the 4 Zealots?
I guess if you have the energy and you're not really planning, you know, any recall-based moves.
I suppose.
I think recall is underutilized.
It's such a finite, you know, well, I guess you're right. If you can, it's like, well, it is still 4 Zealots. That's something,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, even recalling a probe is like, well, you know,
yeah.
it's better than chrono boosting a probe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it gets home, at least. All right, the gold base going to be under attack.
And you know, this is a problem here for Protoss. You know, taking this base specifically, this is an easy place for Terran to hit. I don't see any effort in trying to reclaim this either. It seems like Zest is going to sack this. And man, this is a bit of weird best of 5 because it does seem like we're just kind of watching Zest fray at the seams.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I mean, he could still win this, but it's just like this series is started out with Zest looking untouchable, and now it's been a bit of a tightrope walk. Now coming in here, he should have some amazing side storms here on top of these infantry.
Very good EMPs, but there's a lot of Protoss here, just Protoss everything.
Yeah,
so.
He just has such an overwhelming amount of pretty much every unit that's going to be good at this stage of the game. And we now have a kind of a Terran army that's like far, far out from being able to defend this. So the third's going to go down, the natural may go down, the Warp Prism is still in this mix. So reinforcements aren't going to be an issue. Even juggling Colossi or Immortals won't be an issue, depending on how he wants to devote his APM into the next fight. And I think we're about to see a GG here. Zest has managed to recover at the last possible second and come out on top. I just don't see any way that Bunny could win this fight.
Yeah, he is trying. He's spreading it out, coming in from as big an angle as he possibly can, but it just looks like there's way too much, as you said. GG, and Bunny does get eliminated. Zest going to move on to another round of 4. And I don't feel like Bunny played like too poorly. Maybe he was trying to do a little bit too much that game. Zest was up and down.
Yeah,
I'm uncertain how he's going to end up doing.
He was hot and cold there, man.
Yeah, he was.
Like, I do think that ideal-wise, Zest was very good. There were some kind of weird execution moments. Bunny really met his match there, but, you know, also, you know, rough series for Bunny. It's just a lot of him immediately dealing with a catastrophe or inbound catastrophe here if he doesn't. It was like every game back there was like one of the Saw movies. As, you know, he's got to figure out how much does he want to live in Super Tournament. just Zest on a little bicycle with a jigsaw puppet just going around him in circles. Guys, short break. Up next, Maru vs. Hero.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.